the old man's ancient shell. That day, while wandering through the old man suddenly discovered a massive, nearly 1,000 years old. The trunk was so thick that 2 or 3 adults could not wrap their arms around. Hidden at the base of the tree was an extremely wide. The environment inside was quite dry, making it an ideal. Thinking this, he lowered his bag from he cleared the area around the tree by removing obstructing dry branches, creating an open space. Then he entered the hollow of the tree and cleaned using an iron pickaxe. He leveled construction and craftsman. Once the preparations were done, he cut several pieces. He still lacked a portable so following the design of a wooden he arranged the cut wooden pieces neatly onto a large. He tried his best to ensure that the edges of every wooden piece forming a nearly circular bucket. Finally, he wrapped the outside of the bucket tightly with various. As the vines dried and shrunk, the entire vessel became. Finishing this, the old man re-entered the hollow and removed the excess soil, making it flat and spacious. He mixed some water with the excavated soil to create a strong white. After kneading the clay well, he took his wooden bucket. From there, he collected several flat stones. Since he could only bring a few at a time, he had to make 10 to. Once he had enough stone, he used the adhesive property of the clay firmly to the inner walls of the tree. He pressed the stones repeatedly with his hands to make them. After placing each stone, he applied another layer of clay, sealing all the gaps with his finger. This created a solid protective layer inside, completely blocking out external moisture and building the workspace. The old man did not rest. He cut some thick logs from nearby, sharpened one and drove them into the ground at equal distances along using thick ropes. He tied them securely to build a This table made his work much easier. Even though it was strenuous work and some parts weren't he used his hand planer to fit by placing the flat blade on the high points and pushed it back and forth with both hands. Wood shavings began to peel. In a short time, the rough wooden surface became smooth. By the time he finished this, the next day he fixed 2 thick square logs firmly to the ceiling to act as horizontal. On top of the beam, he added another layer of wooden planks to create a solid. For the door frame, he used the
wood. While the clay was still wet, he carefully placed thin wooden strips over it, pressing down to create a strong sealing seal. This dual protection not only blocked rain, but also reinforced the clay layer, preventing it from cracking or falling off once dry. The careful old man also created a small ventilation hole in the triangular space at the top of the roof for airflow. Next, he went back to the riverbank to collect pebbles. He mixed them with clay and set them firmly into the floor. By arranging the different sized pebbles beautifully, he filled the uneven spots and created a durable floor, which also reduced the humidity inside. With an eye for quality of life, he decorated the yard as well. He defined the yard's boundary using oddly shaped logs and joined the cut parts of branches to create a natural, built-in fence. Though the branches were irregular, his experience and unique sense of beauty made everything look organized and beautiful. He proved how a pair of skilled hands can transform everything. Once all measurements were confirmed, he fitted the wooden planks into the grooves one by one. Not a single iron nail was used in the process. Every plank sat perfectly due to precise measurement and fine craftsmanship. After finishing the door, he installed it. It opened and closed smoothly, leaving no gaps for wind, mosquitoes, or small animals to enter. A feast in the wild. With the shelter complete, it was time to prepare a delicious meal. The old man carved a hole into a piece of wood to make a simple fireplace. He built a stand with clay over the stove to create a large cooking area. While waiting for the clay to dry, he found a massive stone slab and joined it with wooden posts to make a set of table and chairs. For dinner, he planned a wild hot pot. There was no shortage of ingredients. Fresh large prawns from the river, various mushrooms from the forest, and green vegetables. He placed a large iron pot over the stove, poured in clean river water, and brought it to a boil. Then, he added his homemade special sauce. Once the sauce was bubbling, he dropped in the prawns, which curled up and turned bright red. He then added tender pieces of beef and green vegetables. After simmering for a while, he took it off the heat. He dipped the perfectly cooked, juicy meat into his handmade spices and took a bite. It was tender and flavorful. Then he peeled a bright red prawn. The meat was firm and sweet, tasting of the fresh river. Every bite was a wonderful gift from nature. Even in the weary wild forest, such a delicious meal filled his heart. As the sky grew dark, the old man went inside, arranged his bed for the night, and quickly fell asleep.